Hello everyone, my name's Jason. Just recently got back from a Norwegian cruise in Europe with my wife and my 16-year-old son and had a really good time. So wanted to take the time here to spend just a few minutes telling you about the cruise and some things that we liked on that cruise and some things that we didn't like. It was a Norwegian cruise that left Southampton, England, and it ended in Barcelona, Spain. It was a 10-day cruise and we had a really good time on this cruise. The plan for this video is just a very high-level overview of the cruise itself, and we'll talk about some things that we liked on this cruise and some things that we didn't like, and I'll give an overall rating of this cruise at the end of the video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and then I'm going to do future videos for each of the port stops. We won't get into a whole lot of detail today, but we'll do a separate short video for each stop that we took. And if you like this, if you think it's helpful, or if you're interested in these other videos, then like and subscribe when they come out, maybe one a week or so. Then you can watch them and hopefully you'll learn some things to help you plan for your future cruise as well. So this cruise again was the Norwegian Getaway, and we left on June the 6th from Southampton, England. And we had several port stops. Specifically, the port stops that we stopped at were La Coruña, Spain, Vigo, Spain, Lisbon, Portugal, Cadiz, Spain. We stopped in Malaga, Spain, and then we also stopped at Palma, Mallorca, and Ibiza, and then we finished in Barcelona. So those were all the stops that we took, and that wasn't the original itinerary, and that's one of the things that we didn't like. There was some changes that happened late in the cruise schedule. So just before we were leaving for the cruise, just a couple of weeks before, the schedule changed. So originally we were supposed to go to Le Havre, France, and we were also supposed to go to Porto, Portugal, and Gibraltar. And so those got dropped off due to various reasons, and then they added La Coruña and Vigo, and they added another sea day. Previous cruises I've been on a Carnival cruise in the Caribbean. We've been on 2 Disney cruises, both in the Caribbean, and we've been on a Princess cruise to Alaska. So this is our 5th cruise and our first cruise in Europe, and also the first time we've ever taken a Norwegian cruise. Keep that in mind as we talk about things we like and don't like. This is just our opinion on this one cruise, the first time ever cruising Norwegian and the first time ever cruising in Europe. So to get into some of the things that we liked, there were several things that we really liked about this cruise. One of the things was the entertainment. Thought the entertainment on the Norwegian was really good. And it was one of the things I was really nervous about. Being on the Disney cruise, there's so much entertainment on a Disney cruise, and there's a lot of Broadway style entertainment. So wasn't really sure how that would translate to Norwegian. Being on Princess, being on Carnival, our expectations were pretty low, and we knew it wasn't really fair to compare to Disney in terms of entertainment. But we were pleasantly surprised. The big auditorium kind of evening style entertainment, Broadway style entertainment, it was okay. They had some singers, they had magicians, they had a violinist. All of those shows were pretty good. The magician show in particular was pretty good. And then they had one show at the end of the cruise. It was called $1 Million Quartet. That was really good. That was kind of more of the Broadway style show that we really enjoyed. But it was really more of the day-to-day entertainment, the entertainment that was in the atrium. There was a lot of good stuff that was happening in there. They had a lot of audience participation, things like Deal or No Deal, Wheel of Fortune, trivia style stuff. There was always something going on in there when we would walk by, and we participated in some of that and really enjoyed it. There was also some shows and some entertainment in bars or the club venues at night that we went to and enjoyed. The Howl at the Moon dueling piano show was amazing. amazing. We really enjoyed that. But overall, there was something going on all the time, all over the boat. We never got bored. We never was looking for something to do, and it was really high quality entertainment. So that was definitely one of the things that we really liked about the Norwegian cruise. Secondly, the cruise crowd. Being on Carnival, there's a certain crowd of people that typically are on a Carnival cruise. Same thing with Princess, same thing with Disney. So we really weren't sure what to expect with Norwegian, and we really weren't sure what to expect being on our first European cruise. But the crowd was great. It was just a really good mixture of people from all over. And my son, 16 years old, he had plenty of friends, met plenty of friends, and had a really good time with the people that he met. My wife and I, there were couples on the cruise, there were singles on the cruise, there were families on the cruise, there was the older generation on the cruise. So it was a very broad cruise crowd, different styles, different people, but it was very good. Everyone seemed to be happy to be there. Everybody was enjoying themselves and having a good time. So we really enjoyed the crowd that was on this cruise. Our room was really good. We really liked our room. We stayed, in case you're interested, we stayed in 10854 was our room number. It was a small balcony room, and the room was really nice. We had plenty of room, plenty of space, plenty of area to put our stuff. We came on board with 5 suitcases, and we was able to distribute all of our stuff throughout the room. Had plenty of space. The bed was very comfortable. My son had a pull-out couch to sleep on. The balcony was really nice to have. So overall, we really enjoyed the room. Really thought our accommodations were really good, and that was definitely a thing we liked and a big plus. Additionally, the layout of the ship was really good. We got on the boat, and everywhere, when we were walking around the boat, there was signs and information around the elevators that would tell you what was on that floor, and what would tell you is on some of the other floors. There were also touch screens at the ends of each of the floors next to the elevators, and you could look at anything that you wanted to on there. You could look at what was going on for the day, the daily itinerary. You could see where the entertainment was at. You could find out where every restaurant was at. So it was very intuitive and very easy to use, and just overall, the layout of the boat was really, really nice. We got on the boat probably 3 or 4 hours before it was time to set sail, and within a couple of hours, we already knew where everything was at, and made it really easy to just navigate ourselves around the ship. So we've been on some ships where it was a little more difficult, and it took us 3 or 4 days to really figure out where things were. This wasn't the case with this cruise and this boat. It was very, very well done. And then on top of that, the onboarding of the ship was really good. So that was another thing we liked. The day, we had a time frame of when we were supposed to board on the ship, and within probably 30 minutes, 45 minutes from when we were supposed to onboard, we were already on the ship at our room. Within 10, 15 minutes, our luggage was there, and then we could relax and spend the rest of the afternoon before we set sail just browsing the boat, having some dinner or having some lunch, and just enjoying our time. So all of that was some things that we really liked. This is one thing that I don't know if you can really attribute this to the boat itself or to the cruise itself, or maybe it was just pure luck by the weather, but the ship sailing, it was super smooth. I tend to get a little bit seasick, and every cruise I've ever taken or ever been on, I've had to take some medication or something, at least at some point through the cruise, because I start feeling the waves rock and I start getting a little sick. Not one single time, 10 days on this boat, never got sick, never had to take any medication, never had to put any patches on or anything. Really, really enjoyed that. And then lastly, we did the thermal spa, and the thermal spa is really, really nice. Little expensive. We had some onboard credit that they gave to us because of the itinerary changes, the different port stop changes. So we had a couple of $100s in our account that we put toward the thermal spa to help offset some of the cost. So it was never crowded. They had several heated beds. They had a hydro pool. They had their own hot tub. They had in there, they had a salt room, and they had, I think, 2 dry saunas, and then they had a wet sauna. It was nice. It was very, very nice, very comfortable, and very relaxing. And again, it wasn't crowded at all. There were a couple of days that maybe me, my wife, and another couple was in the entire thing. And so, we enjoyed that. Would definitely recommend it. So now to get into some things that we disliked. For me, I'm not a real foodie type person. I don't go on a cruise necessarily for the food. But again, I do like to enjoy my meals or enjoy the food there. And I've kind of gotten used to what, these cruise boats offer. And I was very disappointed in Norwegian. I was disappointed in the food. I didn't think it was it was probably the worst food that I'd had on any cruise. And again, not that it was bad, it just didn't meet my expectations. It was relatively the same meal from one day to the next, a little bit of alteration from one to the other. The desserts were so-so, appetizers were so-so, and some of the dishes just weren't that good. My wife she doesn't eat meat. She's a vegetarian. She typically orders pasta dishes, and a couple of the pasta dishes that came out were kind of dry. They just didn't have a lot of sauce on them. So overall, food was disappointing. There's a lot of options on Norwegian, a lot of specialty dining, but the normal food that we ate there, the complimentary places to eat, not too great. Additionally, the day that we disembarked, so as great as it was to embark and to load on the ship, it was equally as bad getting off the boat. And I don't know what happened. I don't think that this is normal. If you've been on a lot of Norwegian cruises and you know what's kind of normal and what's not, please put in the comments, let us know if this is normal or not. But it took 2 hours to get off the boat. We were supposed to disembark at 8:30 and it was 10:30 by the time we got off the boat. When we went to the floor where we were supposed to go to line up, the line to get off the boat was from one end of the boat all the way to the other end, and then back to the front end again. So it was complete circle, and it was very slow, and just not really sure why. I never really understood why it was so backed up. So again, if you've been on a lot of these, if that's unusual, please let us know. The port stop locations in the harbor was something that we've kind of noticed. We seem to be in a bad place in the harbor. So you go to these harbors, the boats, there's several different places for the boats to park, and maybe it was because of the itinerary changes being so late. Maybe just NCL unfortunately got put in some bad spots. But we always, and I say always, a lot of times we seem to be relatively far away from the city. Our locations seem to be further away, where we would see another boat, people could walk off and basically walk straight into town or downtown, where we might be a lot further off and have to catch a taxi or a shuttle or something to get into town. Not always the case, but it seemed to happen maybe half the time, half the locations we stopped at. So unfortunately, that was a little bit disappointing. Again, not sure if that's Norwegian's fault. Probably not. It might have been just because of the late itinerary changes, and we just, we got a bad parking space. The itinerary changes themselves was something that we disliked. We planned this stuff for months ahead. I think we booked this cruise about 6 months or 7 months ahead of time, and everything stayed the same until the last 3 weeks, and then the changes started happening. The Le Havre, that one was not Norwegian's fault. There was a port strike that that was happening in France, and that kept us from being able to stop there. We had some friends who were on a cruise a week before us on Royal Caribbean. They had the same thing happen to them. So it wasn't anything Norwegian could do. The Porto and the Gibraltar stops being canceled, never really heard why. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened there or why those changed. It was unfortunate and disappointing. And I know there was several people on the cruise that didn't like that. And we heard conflicting stories. We heard some people say, hey, look, if you never cruised Norwegian before, don't let this, give you a bad impression, because this is very, very unusual. But then we also heard someone say that this was literally the 4th time in the last 5 cruises they had taken with Norwegian where they had late itinerary changes. So again, if you're an experienced cruiser with Norwegian, put down in the comments, is this normal or not? I don't know. It happened to us the one time. We, but we navigated through it. Everything was still fine. We had a good time. And again, I'll get into the specifics about those port stops in later videos if you want to hear about them. The app was probably the last thing that we really didn't like. The Norwegian Cruise app is just a little clunky. It doesn't really work the best. Other apps that we've used, so hopefully they get that fixed. It just was buggy, had some problems. It wasn't the easiest thing to use. So I don't know. Overall, that's an improvement I think Norwegian could make. So out of all the likes, a few dislikes, pretty normal for a vacation. There's always some things you like and some things you dislike, but overall still a very good vacation. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing, I would probably rate this 7 out of 10. It was a good vacation and we enjoyed it. My son enjoyed it, my wife enjoyed it. We all had a good time. We had a lot of good memories. 10 days is a long time, but it went by very fast, and we got a lot of memories. We took probably 1,000 pictures, and we're the type of family that we'll be looking at these pictures for years to come and reminiscing on a good time that we had. So if you like this video, if you think it's helpful, if it's interesting to you, like and subscribe. I've got more videos coming. I'm going to try to do a tips and tricks video for cruising. As I mentioned before, I'm going to try to do that maybe in about a week, and then maybe once a week I'll talk about the different port stops that we took. So I'll tell you, maybe spend 10 minutes and tell you a little bit about La Coruna. I'll spend maybe 10 minutes and tell you a little bit about Vigo and all these different places. So again, like, subscribe, and we'll see you around. So until then, thanks, and have a good day.